Welcome back, bows and bells, to another episode of Blackbird Poker. I tried to get back to form after some subpar poker play the last session, so, without further fooling, let's get that bread. Early in this session, I get sucked out on and am now down about 75 smackaroos. I look down at ace-king of spades in the +1 position, and I raise it up to 5.5 times the big blind with a loose plan to 4-bet re-raise if I get 3-bet light. After two callers come in, the big blind gives me that opportunity when he raises it to 7 gator teeth. This is a new player to the table, and this is the first hand that he has been dealt. I've played with this player before, and he frequently makes this type of move to establish table image when he first sits down. Though he is capable of actually having a big hand here, he often shows down hands like 7s, 8s, or 9s, and the occasional suited king-queen or king-jack combos. When he makes this move, I give him the benefit of the doubt and I put him on a medium pair, giving me just 2 suited overcards to what I think his holding is. It appears that I have him covered, though not by much, so I stick with the plan and 4-bet jam for the rest of his stack. He doesn't waste any time getting the rest of his stack in, making it likely that he has a pair. I flip him up, and he shows pocket 10s for the classic race. I get no help on the flop, and no help on the turn, and the old brick on the river. Man, I top off my stack, putting me in the game for about 575. The floor calls down a few lists for other games, and a tournament starts. So myself and one other guy sit tight, and we end up getting a half a dozen new players trickle in for pretty much a brand new game. I look down at ace-queen of clubs under the gun, and I open for 5.5 big blinds. The hijack is the only one willing to dance, and we go heads up to the flop. It ain't bad looking at all when it comes ace, 5, 4, giving me top pair. The hijack is capable of having an ace here, and often likes to play weak-suited aces. With the 2 hearts out there, I lead out for about 60% of the pot to maybe take it down right here. When the hijack calls, I narrow him down to a weaker ace and possibly a draw. I have to be a little cautious because he would just smooth call with hands like ace-4 and ace-5. The only time this player ever raises is when he has the stone-cold nuts. Otherwise, he's a calling station if he's still in the hand. The turn brings in the 9 of spades, missing flush draws and straight draws. I lead out again for about a third of the pot. If my opponent smooth calls, he's most likely chasing a draw. In the event that he has an ace, I might be able to milk a few more dollars out of him on a river. He does call, and the river brings in a board pairing 4. Not too scary here, and you know how I love them paired boards. I don't put this type of player on a 4, and with a straight and the flush draws now missing, he either has a weaker ace or nothing at all. In the event that he does have a weaker ace, I lead out for an insulting $20, giving him almost 6-1 to call. He takes the slap in the face like a champ, and he folds. Winner, winner. I'm slowly rebuilding my stack now. Hopefully I can maintain this momentum and get some of that back that I lost. In the button, I get dealt jack 9 of spades. The hijack opens for 15 smackaroos, and I come along for the ride, along with the under the gun and the +1 positions. 4 of us to the flop of queen, 7, 5 with 2 spades. With the flush draw and a backdoor straight draw, I'm going to peel one off the majority of the time here. If it checks to me, I may even bet a low percentage of the time if I have the skill advantage. But 4 ways, the cheaper the peel, the better. The early position checks, and the pre-flop raiser leads out for 4 gator teeth. He doesn't want to see another card. I wish I could have seen the turn a little cheaper, but the sun can't shine on a swamp rat's ass every day. I confirm the count, and I make the call. I'm not too worried about the players left to act. Their play type leans more towards OMC profile, and they would have let out here if they had anything at all. With regard to the hijack, even if I did not have a spade draw, If the flush does come in on the turn, it would be a great spot to bluff because his play so far just screams, I have top pair and I don't want a flush to hit at all. Unfortunately for him, the flush does come in, and it comes in the form of a king of spades. While he may have ace-queen with the ace of spades, that or a king-queen combo would be enough for him to call a turn bet or a min click. He presents strength by reaching for his chips, which means he's weaker than Matt Berkey's intimidation game, for sure. I goad him a little bit and throw in a stack of chips for a pot-sized bet. He doesn't even consider it and tosses his hand into the muck. I scoop another pot and play on. I'm still down, but only about 150 when I look down at Jack 10 suited on the button. There's a couple of limpers when it folds to me, so I bump it up to a gator tooth for grits and giggles. The blinds fold and the limpers call, leading us 3 ways to a flop. The flop is a hot garbage rainbow when it comes ace, 4, deuce. The low jack decides he wants to stab at it and tosses out $10. When the hijack folds, I have 2 options. Fold my nothing hand or re-raise to represent the ace. As a limp caller, the low jack could have a 4 or maybe a deuce, but the likelihood of him having an ace is very small, and an ace is more favored in my range as the pre-flop raiser. I instead make the mistake and just call. Now the pot is a little bloated, and I'm going to need a good card to make a move on the turn. My mistake is lessened in severity when the low jack checks dark. Checking dark is a strategy that can be used to win some big pots, but it has to be consistent. In my experience, a lead out followed by a dark check is a recreational player tell that pretty much says, my feeble attempt to win the pot failed. Now, I don't want anything else to do with this hand. Please give me justification to fold. The turn pairs the board. You know how I like them paired boards, boy. Since he's already thrown in the towel, I decide on a bet size of just about half the pot. I have no inclination that he will call or re-raise here. I just hope that he doesn't Hollywood too much because I'm still stuck on the day and I got chips to scoop. Thankfully, he spares me the Hollywood, and I stack some more chips en route to getting even and hopefully making just a little bit of profit today. And there's no better hand to stack some chips with than my favorite hand. Yes, sir, we're talking about Beyonce's booty right here. It's back, baby, and I look down at it with a big smile from the hijack position. Under the gun limps, and the +1 position, who is a bit tilted, raises it 7.5 times the big blind. I go for a triple size 3-bet and raise the price of admission to 45 smackaroos. I'm feeling good about my position until it gets back to the big blind, who decides to go all in for about 145 effective. Now, this is a pretty bad spot. With a raise and a 3-bet ahead of him, the range a player would go all in with here is pretty narrow. Narrow being aces, kings, and every once in a blue moon, the occasional pair queens. But since I have those blocked, it's most likely that I am dominated, and there's still 2 players left to act. I goad him a bit, and he flashes the ace of hearts before the action gets back to me. With the +1 position still left to act, he shows him the ace of hearts as well, which prompts him to go all in for, about 220 effective. Oh my gentle Jesus, what is happening here? This hand really got off the rails really quickly. I'll tell you what's happening. My lovely darling, my favorite hand, my baby, is smoked. There's no way I'm ahead here. I'm up against aces and most likely ace-king. Given that I am positive that at least one of these opponents has me dominated, I sadly and begrudgingly fold. Goodbye, my dear. Don't forget me. We will be together again soon. Once again, I promise. As I send my lovely into the muck, the showdown proceeds and my opponents show aces and a tilt and jam with king jack of spades. Good riddance. In the hijack, I pick up ace king of spades and decide to 3-bet after the low jack opens for a gator tooth. The cutoff comes along and the low jack defends and we go 3 to a flop. I miss the flop, but I do get some insurance with 2 spades on a jack 7 deuce board. The original raiser checks, and I decide to check behind with the intention to call any bet that's not pot size or larger. The cutoff makes a static bet of 25. This is an easy call here. This bet is a standard C-bet size, and while my opponent could have a jack, he could also have ace-king and ace-queen combos that have missed the flop like me. I call when the low jack folds, and we go heads up to the turn that brings in the jack of clubs. With a jack in the range he could have, I check. If he checks, I can assume he may not have a jack, and most players at this level tend to bet because they are scared of the flush coming in. He does check, and the river brings in the ace of diamonds. I make aces up with the king kicker, and the spade flush doesn't get there. Still probable that I have the best hand. I decide on a bet size that's about 1/4 the size of the pot. I'm targeting ace-queen, ace-10, and possibly some smaller pairs like 8s or 9s. He does think about it for a few moments, and I think I'm going to get a call. I don't think he would lay down a healthy ace here, but he could find a fold with like a middling pair or something like that. I don't get the thin value that I was hoping for, and he makes the fold. I scoop the pot, a few players come and go, and that takes us to the last hand of the day. Nearly back to even, I look down at king 10 in the big blind. The small blind raises, and I just call. I'm getting a great price. The 2 limpers come along, and we're 4 ways to a flop. The flop is a paired 8-6-6 board with 2 clubs. I haven't seen any action from these players since they are new, so I decide to check here to see how things go. It checks around, and the turn brings in the 10, giving me top pair. The small blind checks, and I lead out for about 40% of the pot. The low jack makes the call, and the hijack decides that's not enough, so he min clicks it. With top pair, I consider re-raising here, but I settle on just a call. When it gets back to the low jack, he decides there's no reason to continue the slow play and raises it again, this time to 80 smackaroos. And, of course, the hijack snap calls. With the table dynamic changed, I make an easy fold here and I call it a day. The low jack ended up with the winner showing 6 deuce on a bricked river. As always, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. That's the best way you can help support it. I'll see you soon. Be safe out there. And remember, whole hog if you got it.